Okay, so at this point in our lab, we're going to be probably getting some vCenter server evaluation expired licenses because they're only good for 90 days and we should be fairly into our 90-day period by this time. So if you do get that, check the announcements so that you can get the appropriate serial numbers to input those. I've already launched all of my VMs and I'm sitting on my VC. My Starwind management console is already open. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. I'm going to also maximize my screen. So part of this lab, we're actually going to be simulating a failure in VM Workstation. And so how we do that is we're actually going to uninstall all of the major components for vCenter. So we're going to be going to Programs and Features, and you're going to notice that we have several VMware products, and we're going to be removing all of them. So we're going to be uninstalling all of the SQL portions and all of the vCenter options. So I'm going to start off with vCenter Server. The reason I say vCenter Server is because all of the other components are reliant on this. So that's always a good idea to start with this first. And the uninstallation might take a little while. So it will actually auto as it goes to uninstall. You just let it run and you give it time. You'll notice that as it shuts down the services, it will start uninstalling the other major components because everything is reliant on the server, so it should take you through most of the uninstallation process for all the VMware products. But again, once this is done, we're just going to go ahead and verify. And once it's done installing, it should auto close. And then we just move on to the next item. So whatever it doesn't uninstall, we're going to uninstall them manually. Do not uninstall VMware tools though. That one, we want to make sure it stays there. And again, you just kind of have to be patient because they take a while to uninstall. So you're not sitting here for a 20 or 25 minute video of me uninstalling items. I'm pausing it in between for the very long uninstallations. So just again, make sure that you uninstall all VMware items, not including VMware tools. We want to leave VMware tools there. So I'm getting there, slowly, but I'm getting there. And the last one should be the VMware web client. So once you've done uninstalling all of these, go ahead and make sure that you also uninstall the SQL servers as well. When uninstalling VMware web client, you may get a few random pop-ups with our single sign-on. Because of the order that we uninstalled them, again, just pay attention. Most of the time is, do you want to continue, and just agree to continue. Because you cannot find certain lookup items because we already uninstalled them. And then lastly, all of the SQL. And the SQL is pretty straightforward. You want to remove all of them. So with that, all items are uninstalled. We simulated our failure. We have to go ahead and power cycle our VC. Nope, I clicked log off, not power cycle. But I'm going to power cycle it anyway. Let's restart. So once we've done that, we're actually going to redo our esxi hosts. I'm not going to walk through the steps for those, but we will be walking through the same steps like we've done before. We're going to, just like in Lab 5, we're going to follow the exact same steps to reset up our esxi hosts. And I don't want to do another 20-minute video just showing those guys. So I'm going to mainly focus on just our VC. So once our VC restarts, let's go ahead and log into it. Oh, helps if I click on the box to type. Once we've logged into it, you may get an activation pop-up or two. That's okay. Our vCenter items are no longer installed. You may still have a few of them on your desktop. They're not valid anymore though. So we can actually go ahead and delete them. Like our vSphere web client, it's no longer there. So once we're at this point, let's go ahead and edit our Rvc settings, because we actually want to remount our ISO, and that's going to be our Vim setup. We also want to disable our additional NICs. We only want to leave VMware Network 8 attached. VM Network 3, we do not. We're going to go back and we're going to return it on, just not right this second. To make this a little easier, I'm going to maximize my screen. And I will rerun the setup. Here we want to do a simple install. And it will walk us through the same steps which we've done before. This is kind of slow, so it does take time, so be patient. Pay attention to the passwords that we're going to be requesting. If you do not get a DNS resolution is successful, that's maybe because you did not disable your Network 3. Disable your Network 3, come back, rerun it, and that should be all green check marks. Put in our appropriate password. Now remember, this is going to be for our single sign-on, so this will be our password, $, and the number 1. The site name, you can leave it whatever you'd like. The default ports, again, we're going to leave all of these our defaults, and that is okay. And now it's just a matter of setup. You may get a script is not responding, do you wish to kill error? Pay attention to them and make sure that we do not kill the script. Again, we do not want to kill the script. And this is what I mean right here is, do you want to stop running the script? No, we do not want to stop running the script. Sit back, relax. It will install all of the appropriate items. It's just, you have to be patient and you have to make sure that you're not killing the script. You may get a SSL SHA-1 fingerprint. Just go and accept it. And again, just be patient. This several times on our lab equipment has taken well over an hour. Just got to be patient and let it run. When you get to the vCenter simple installation, because we already had a database, this may be there. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the existing database, and we're going to tell it we already have a backup of it. And then hit next and install. Again, pay attention to the on-screen prompts for the killing of the scripts, and that's really the only major area that we keep running into. For our vCenter simple installation, it will prompt you for a license key. Don't worry about the license key. We can always input it later, or we can use a demo license for the next 60 days. Either works. The next one will be our SQL installation. We're going to install SQL again, because we uninstalled it, again simulating our failure. We're going to use all of the defaults. Pay attention to the ports. And for our inventory size, we're going to choose small. And we are good to go. Install, and then just let it go. When it is done, you should get another SSL SHA-1 fingerprint message. We're going to go and accept the key, and we are almost done. Again, make sure not to stop running the script. So no, we do not want to stop. And now it is doing one of the last portions, and we're almost done. So 25 minutes later, it is finally finished. I have 2 SSDs, and this took its time. So we're actually going to go ahead and, in order to finish our installation, close all the pop-ups and restart. Once it comes back online, we can actually go ahead and turn back on our network 3. So actually, why don't we go ahead and do that while it's powering off. We're going to re-edit the settings. Go to our network adapter. We want network 3, and we want to turn it on. If you disable it, it goes back to default network 0, so you do want to make sure that we're doing the correct networks. And as this powers on, we just got to be a little bit patient. So once our vCenter is restarted, I'm going to go ahead and re-maximize my screen and log in. This time we're going to try to do most of our management through our web client. Make sure that, again, our StarWind services are starting up correctly. Connect. You may get a failure to connect. That's because everything is still starting. It's got to be a little bit patient. Okay, after giving a minute or two, that should be sufficient enough. Or not. So let's go do some managerial stuff while we wait. Because it's a fresh installation of VMware, let's go ahead and make sure that we put the web client on our desktop. So I just want to send it to a shortcut to the desktop and double click on it, because we have to install a plugin for it to work, for at least single sign-on to work. We're going to proceed because I know it's unsafe because it doesn't have a proper certificate, which that's okay for our test environment. We don't have that option, so we're going to download the integration plugin. And while that's downloading, let's go back to our StarWind management. Let's connect again. There it goes. We just got to give it time. It will connect. Just got to be patient. So it connected. We're going to go ahead and minimize it, and we're done with that. Let's run the VMware client integration plugin. You may get a hateful pop-up saying you can't because you have Chrome open. Let's go ahead and close Chrome, and let's try to redo it. Walk through the setup. We're leaving all the basics, that's okay, accept the agreement, and install. The installation shouldn't take very long, but once we are done, we're going to go ahead and hop in to our vCenter using our web client. It's kind of slow the first few times. We're going to proceed. That's okay. You can apply appropriate certificate for this. It's just most people don't. Let's go ahead and log in. Administrator at vsphere.local. It's going to be the password that we set during the installation. Our plugin should work, but it actually did not prompt us, or it didn't show that we could, so we may just have to restart our VC in order for it to work. I'm going to go ahead and maximize my screen. So first thing that we want to do is we want to navigate to Vcenter. So we have one Vcenter server, and that's it. So let's go ahead. We need to add a data center. And we're going to call our data center training, I do believe. And we're going to add it to our vc.local. We're actually going to go into our training data center, and we're going to add in both our hosts. I went ahead, I already reset up our esxi hosts, just make it a little bit quicker. This time I'm doing the names, not IP addresses. I'm going to go ahead and assign it an existing key, because all those keys are stored. I'm going to add in a second host. Again, I'm going to apply one of the stored keys. And that's all good. And they'll show disconnected at first, but they will reconnect. Our data stores should be back, our switches should be back. All information that we did should still be here now. I did not manually walk through how to re-add all the networks. We've all done it. We've done it multiple times in numerous labs, so I figured you guys were good with that. But we do need to reset up our single sign-on though. So in order to do that, we're actually going to go back to our home. And we're going to go to our vCenter, for our administration, we're going to go to administration first, because we need to configure our domain, identity source. Our vid.local should be there. It should auto find it. For our users, for our vid.local, it should be able to pull users from our vid.local, which it can. For our groups, for our administrators, it should show administrator, But we're also going to add in an additional user from our vita.local. We're going to add in the admin, and now that way our vadmin is a administrator, so we should be good. So now that we added it underneath our single sign-on, we also need, we're also going to add an administrator for our Vita. We log into our VC as administrator, so we do want to make sure that's also there, so that our single sign-on won't have any problems. But while that's working on that, we're actually going to navigate back home. We're going to go to Vcenter. We're going to go back to Vcenter again. And we actually need to edit the permissions for this so that we can allow users to log into it. We're going to click on Manage, go to Permissions, because right now only vSphere, or the administrator for vsphere.local can log into it. We actually want to make sure that we add in our Vita. Did we add in a VMware administrator group? We're going to add in our ESX admins. And click OK. Make sure that we are selecting the appropriate role. We want them as an administrator. Click on OK. That way our ESX admins are administrators and can log into our Vita, or our vc.vita.local. Before I added an administrator and vadmin individual accounts, I forgot we had the ESX admin group. Last thing is, let's verify that our networks are there. I reset them up already, but just want to verify. So data store, we have our data stores esxi 1, esxi 2, like they should be. We have our one standard switch for our management. Let's go to vCenter. I actually want to look at our individual hosts. I want to see their networks. And again, would be double checking all of these just to make sure that they're all the appropriate setup. And they are. And that's actually it for 21. 21 is a lot of work. It's recombining everything that we did. I made it a little bit shorter just because we're already 25 minutes into a video. I did a lot of it on the side, but yeah, that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, let me know.